Hi there. You have chosen to view this introductory lesson because you are interested in taking your IELTS examination. In particular, you are interested in getting the best possible score for IELTS Writing Task 1. Let me introduce myself. My name is Pip Murray. I'm a language teaching professional with over 10 years experience in designing, developing and delivering language programs to my clients from around the world. I have extensive experience in teaching academic English and therefore IELTS. My interest is helping my students achieve the results that they need, desire and deserve. In this introductory lesson, I will be explaining what IELTS Writing Task 1 is about and giving you some important advice on how you can do your best. I will give you an overview of what you can expect from each of my lessons when you sign up and take this course with me. By becoming my student on ukgate.com, you are committing yourself to improvement. You are committing yourself to getting the IELTS score that you can be proud of. So, what is IELTS Writing Task 1? IELTS Writing Task 1 is a descriptive writing task where you are describing diagrams. You will have to describe graphs, or charts, or tables, natural processes, industrial processes, or how something works. In this course in particular, we are going to be dealing only with graphs, charts, and tables. The reason for this is that the language that you need to know in order to describe graphs, charts, and tables is significantly different to the language you need to know to describe processes and how things work. So in each of the courses, I will deal separately with the language you need to answer the different types of questions. So this course, I repeat, is for graphs, charts, and tables only. So, how is your IELTS test marked for writing task 1? First of all, the examiners are looking for your task response. This is how you answer the question. What information have you provided in the answer? Is this information logical? Does it make sense? Is it relevant to the question? You will also be given marks on coherence and cohesion. So your answers must be logical, well organized, structured and paragraphed. More marks will be given for what we call lexical resource. Now this is quite a strange terminology maybe for you. You might not have heard this before, but it simply means the range of vocabulary that you have. So the more vocabulary that you're able to use and the more wide-ranging vocabulary that you're able to use and the variation of vocabulary that you can produce will give you a higher IELTS score. And that's exactly the same thing for your grammatical range and accuracy. So if you have simple structures where you repeat the same structure often, you will get lower marks. If you can vary the structures, vary the word orders, and make sure that every sentence you write is grammatically accurate, then you will have a high IELTS score. Scores from each of these 4 topics will be put together and your final IELTS score will be calculated and that score will be added to writing task 2 to provide you with an overall IELTS writing score. So, in the writing task, especially in task 1, let's look at the key skills that you will be covering and you will be achieving in this course. First of all, you're going to be taught and you're going to learn how to describe significant features. These are the main features in the diagrams, the graphs, the charts and the tables. I will talk to you about time limits, so how long you must spend on answering these questions in the actual test. Word limits, how many words should you use? What are the maximum number of words? What are the minimum number of words when you're answering your question? Paragraphing, an important key skill. We already said about coherence and cohesion. Understanding how paragraphs will give you more marks in the coherence and cohesion section. Then, another key skill, like I said before, is the variation of your vocabulary and grammar, and this will score you marks in lexical resource and grammatical range and accuracy sections. Another important key skill is avoiding irrelevant information. Okay? So if you're describing a graph which explains food, don't write, "I love hamburgers," or "I dislike hamburgers," because that's completely pointless. It is completely irrelevant, and the examiner will not want to know this information. So, I will also drill you on common errors, things to avoid when you're writing your IELTS answers. A common problem is when students use too many words or too few words. So you must use the correct amount of words. A lot of students miss certain pieces of information in the graphs, and they don't describe the graphs fully enough. So we want to avoid missing information. Another key problem is when students are using verbs. Quite often, students make a mistake in using tenses. They might use a past tense when a present tense is appropriate. They might use a present tense when a past tense is more appropriate. And conjugation, for example, in present simple, for example, the word eat, the third person is he eats. Very, very often, students miss this S. Then there are grammatical errors. For example, missing articles or incorrect prepositions, etc. Another thing that you want to be careful about is not varying your range of vocabulary. So you must provide as much different vocabulary as you can. And the same thing for grammatical structures. And we've already mentioned that. And we've already mentioned about paragraphing. So another common problem, a common mistake, is when the essay is organized very badly. So this will reduce your marks in the coherence and cohesion section of the marking. So, what are the contents of this IELTS Writing Task 1? What we're going to look at when we're describing graphs, charts and tables is the language that you need to be able to answer these questions. So, first of all, expressing statistical data. In the graphs, there are lots of numbers, for example, and you need to know how to express those numbers. Percentages, proportions, etc. Comparing information, looking at one piece of information and another piece of information and showing the differences or the similarities between these sets of information. Expressing change or trends, where a graph is measured over time. How does something change over time? We'll look at vocabulary that you need to express all of these ideas, and we'll look at also the grammar that you need to express these ideas. The end of the course, you will have a number of lessons where you get actual practice in writing answers to IELTS questions. This is one of the most important parts because you're putting all of the language you've learned into practice, and practicing the IELTS tests will mean that when you sit down in the examination room, you are already familiar with the structure of taking the test and the strategies of taking the test, and understanding how to do the test and having practiced the test a number of times will build your confidence. So you will feel less stressed in the examination room, which is very, very important. So, as I said before, I have many years of experience in helping students achieve their goals. In particular, I have helped a large number of students through many months of hard work to achieve good IELTS results. What about your goals? Are you taking IELTS because you want to come to an English-speaking country and go to university there? Do you need IELTS for a university course in your country? Or do you simply need IELTS to help you take your English to the next level? Whatever your needs, whatever your goals, I look forward to being your teacher at ukgate.com, because I can help you achieve the results you desire. After taking the course, you will have the option of submitting your essays to ukgate.com, and a teacher will mark and assess your essays and give you an IELTS score, and also to give you advice on how to improve. So, I look forward to seeing you on the course.